Afternoon, guys. Welcome, welcome. It's 12 o'clock right now. I'll wait another minute. Welcome in. Got a few more of you guys need to sign in here. Okay, got 15. I'm going to wait for a little bit more. I want more than 15 of you guys here. So I don't know if you guys have done the calculus for how much time is left in this semester, including today's class right now. You have 4 classes left in the semester. I'm not sorry, before winter break. Before winter break. And when we get back from the break, we've got 4 weeks left, which is 8 classes. So including this class, there are 12 classes left in this semester. So just something to keep your internal calendar calibrated. It will go fast. So, all right. Well, we got 19 of you guys. That's most of you, not everybody, but most of you. So I want to show you guys how to do something new today, which is going to be for an assignment that's not due until January, obviously. I know a lot of you guys, as soon as I gave you the black and white versus color assignment, you just jumped on it and finished it real quickly. And so that probably means that you've had a little bit of time on your hands waiting to do something else. And I thought that for this next assignment, since you are working with digital media, you might as well try to do something here that is really the provenance of digital media. What digital media does much more simply than analog medium would. And so let me share to you what the idea is, and then I'm going to show you how to do it. So today's video is going to be an important reference for you. And so in the Canvas page where I have the assignment, I will also post the date of the video that you should rewatch if you want to see how to do certain things, because I'm going to demonstrate some of this for you. So first of all, wait a second, Stoopy Goop. I have to make sure it's up. There we go. All right. So assignment number 5. So composite your world. And compositing is a kind of a way of saying digitally collage. So composite is taking 2 or more photographs and combining them into a single photograph and doing something, making something happen that looks impossible, but because it's a photograph, maybe it's plausible. So I'm going to show you how to use a layer mask, which is what Photoshop calls it. They call it something else in Photopea, but I'll show you what that is and how you can erase something, but be able to bring that back. So you can make something transparent, but if you do it too much, you can bring it back and restore it. So it's not damaging to your image in any way. I'll show you how to resize images that you composite, and how you can also adjust the opacity of layers so that you can see how you're lining things up to get it just right. So let me show you that stuff in Photopea. But to do that, I have to stop sharing here and reshare into Photopea. And I guess, oh, wait a second. That's why I didn't see it. Do you guys ever have too many tabs open? Okay, here we go. So this is a photograph of a window that I downloaded off the internet. And I did it for a window because it's a nice, easy rectangle. And this photograph right here is a gecko's eye, close up of a gecko's eye, which is pretty cool. And all these watermarks, this is because it's a stock photograph that I downloaded, and they want to put their paw prints all over it. So if you want to actually get a good quality of you have to buy it from them, which I'm not going to do, but that's all right because I don't need to buy it for demonstration. So what I've done with this, I want to put this inside that window, or basically replace the window with the eye. Okay, and I'm not going to do a slow, super duper careful job because this is a demonstration, but I'll give you the basic instructions about how to do this. If you have questions as we go, throw it into the chat and I'll see it so I can try to answer it. But so this right here is a background layer. Okay, I'm going to select all, which is just simply Command A, select all. Or you could select all. And so you can see the outline, and then I'm going to copy it. So copy, just like that. And I'm going to go into this image and I'm going to paste it. So paste, bang, and there it is. And you can see it's a much smaller image. It's not going to fill that window, so I need to adjust things for that. Okay, so a couple areas that you're going to use a fair amount in Edit, down here to Transform. So Edit, Transform. The first thing I want to do is I want to turn that horizontal image into a vertical image. So I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees. And there it is, 90 degrees, but it's still too small. Okay, so I'm going to go Edit, Transform again, and now I'm going to say Scale. But look at all the different things you can do with this. And what it'll give you is grab corners on the image, and you can rotate it, you can distort it, you can shift the perspective, you can warp it. But I'm going to change the scale. And so you can see the grab corners that are here now. So I'm going to make sure that this thing is bigger just by a little bit bigger than the window. Okay, and actually I'm going to make it even a little bit bigger because I don't want any of this stupid stuff where it says Shutterstock down here. Okay, and then I just hit return. And so it's now set. All right, and you can see that it's in its own layer here. Okay, I want to put this behind the window. So what I've got to do here is, watch what I'm doing. I'm duplicating the background layer by dragging it down to this. It looks like a piece of paper with a corner folded. And now I've got a copy layer. Okay, and what I can do then is I can move these layers. Background layers sit at the bottom. But any other layer, you can reorder the stack. So I'm going to put this background on top of here, or maybe I'll move layer 1 down here. There we go. And now it is. See, there it is, but now it's under this layer. Okay. So now I can do all kinds of things. I'm going to show you the simplest, and then I'm going to show you a slightly more complex way to do it. But the complex gives you all kinds of other possibilities. So the simplest thing to do is I'm going to select this window. I'm going to basically be inside. I'm not going to worry about all the different panes. I'm just going to go inside those windows there. So I'm going to pick here a selection tool. And so lasso is a freehand. So you draw your selection. I don't want to do that. I want to be actually really precise. And these two are the ones that do more precise, and polygon is one that's meant for straight lines. So I'm going to click here and go down. You can see it's dragging its little spider web behind it. And I'm going to go right to this corner right here and click. And now I'm going to go to this corner and click, and up to this corner, almost there, and then back to here. And once I do that, now you can see that that window is selected. Okay. A couple of things I could do, but the simplest thing right now is, now that I've got it selected, I'm going to pick right here. This is the move tool. That's why there's an arrow. See right there, it says move tool. So watch what I can do with this. I can, oops, hold on a second. Why didn't it grab it? It's just moving the selection. It's not moving the thing.
I think you might be on the wrong layer because you're on layer 1.
Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly the right thing. I'm glad somebody here is paying attention. All right. There we go. Now I'm moving the window, and look what's underneath that. And in fact, I can move it right out of the picture if I want. I can remove it entirely. I could also, just for the sake of knowing it, I can, with this, since it's selected, I can rotate it, I can spin it around. I can also, with that, since it is selected, I can go here and I can multiply. I can do all kinds of other things with that selection, including duplicate it. But for now, I'm just going to move it out of the way. Oops, come on. Background copy. There we go. I'm going to move it out of the way. So it's off the picture. And I can do the same thing with this right here. I can remove the other one. And actually, yes. So I'm going to move this one. Yep. Somehow it didn't connect. Are you going to do it? No, I guess you're not. You're going to be a bugbear. Well, heck, it's not going to do it. I don't know why it's not doing it, because I've gone around this 3 times.
Mr. Goshall, if you look in the left, I think the last thing that you selected is still selected. You see that?
Yeah, I do. So
I think it's within that
Yeah.
selection.
there we go. And that may be it. Thank you. There's a few things about this that are different from Photoshop, which is part of my learning curve, because there we go. Yep. And that was exactly right. So I'm going to move this off the picture. And then I guess I have to deselect. So there I have a lizard's eye behind here, and I can move this around any way I want, so that you might not want to open that window. As far as seeing how things are placing, so I'm on this top layer. I can reduce the opacity here and make that transparent. So if there's things behind that you want to position just right, all you can have to do is make the top layer transparent, and then you can move this layer however you want it so it's positioned just right, and then simply restore the opacity here, and it sits. Okay, so there's one thing that you can do just by selecting and removing. And like I said, those selections, if you're picking, say, a petal of a flower or a leaf, you can multiply, you can keep duplicating copies of that. So that single leaf can turn into 10 leaves, and you can rotate them and you can skew them and make them look like they're falling out of the sky. So that's very possible. I'm going to go back in history.
I was just wondering, like,
Yes.
I've seen a couple of photos that I really like where you basically take a picture of, like, maybe, like, say, a head of something, like the head of, like, your dog or something, but then it, like, the head is still on an outline, but it's on, like, this matte background,
Right.
but then it, like, fades into, like, this scene. So basically maybe you could do, like, a head of a mountain lion, and then you could do, like, a mountain range
Yes.
and stuff like that.
Yes, exactly.
But how do I select and then have it fade instead of just having it selected and then be, like, just a line?
Okay, so pay attention to what I'm doing here. This might be a help for that answer, actually. So I'm going to click on this, and now, we've got that behind it. Okay, so watch what I'm doing right here, because I'm going to show you how you can use it. Looks like an eraser. It looks like you're just taking away the top image, but I'll do it in a way that you can restore it if you over erase. Okay, and first of all, with this layer selected, I'm going to hit this right here, and this is called a raster mask. Okay, so I'm going to click it, and this little link, this little chain link, means that it's connected to that image. But this is the active element, is the mask. Right now, the mask is not working. Now it is. Okay, so when that mask is working, you click on a pencil right here. This is a pencil or the brush. Either one works.
Mr. Gottschall.
And those are the tools that act as erasers. And I don't know why they picked the pencil or the brush, but that's what they use. Photoshop is the same way. Down here are the base colors. Okay, black and white. And of course, you can always choose other colors, but black and white is what we need for this. Black is erase. If you hit those double arrows, the white is now on top. White is restore. So watch what happens when I go on erase. Okay, and you can see the size of my cursor right here. And by the way, to make this bigger or smaller, the bracket keys on your keyboard, not the parentheses, but the bracket keys. make it bigger and
Yeah.
smaller. So that's just a nice keyboard shortcut, so you don't have to go all the way up in here and go into that. So, okay, so here's my cursor, and watch what happens now as I do this. So I come down, and what's happening is I am making the top layer transparent. Now, right now it says 100%. I can toggle that back. So now it's not going so fast. You can see that. But what you can do now is I'm going to toggle that back up. And of course, you can have soft edged or hard edged, depending on what you want to do. But I'm going to toggle this back up. So here is now the lizard's eye appearing in the middle of this window. Okay. But if I go, whoops, I went way past. Okay. I can just click on these double arrows and put the white on top. Now, white means restore. So watch what happens when I go back over the image. That top layer is all still there and nothing happened to it. So what you can do is you can take your friend who's a dancer and shrink her down to a tiny little size, and then put her underneath a flower, but then you can erase the flower petal just on top of her and make her appear as if she's dancing on the flower. Okay, so this is a handy little tool right here. And I find that when compositing, I picked a window which is a nice straight line rectangular shape, but most of the good situations are not such easy rectangles. Although if you want to work with one, I have no problem with that. I have no question with it. But you can see how all of that lower image is now gone. If I want to go back and bring some of it back, because maybe I restored too much of the top layer, it's all still there. So it all has to do with using this raster image, or raster mask with the image, and then the brush or the pencil tool, it doesn't matter. And black is erase or make invisible, and white is restore or make visible again. So those are two things that are really, really worth knowing. For compositing, this is for me far easier than most of the other techniques I've seen. So now, what was the question exactly that one of you asked? Was it Serena? Was it you that wanted to know how to put a lion on top of a mountain range?
Like basically, you just take a picture of, like, say you were in your house and you took a picture of your cat.
Yep.
And then you would like just take the cat, like not the background, and put it on like this just matte color. And then basically you would make the cat part fade into like this range. Like maybe you could fade it into like some cat toy.
Okay.
Like,
so let me try something. Okay. And give me a second. So what I'm going to do, in fact, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Okay. So with that, I'm going to bring up a new browser window and I'm going to say cat picture. Images of a cat. Okay. Well, see, that one was already done. That one was done by somebody else. Okay. So cat picture. Let's pick. I'm picking this because it's simple. Okay. And I'm going to, oops, cats can get coronavirus. I didn't know that. And I'm not going to worry about the cookies. So save image as, I'm going to say cat. All right. And now back to Photopea. I'm going to open the cat. All right. So the first thing I would do with this, I mean, there's a number of ways to do it. One is that you can very, very, very carefully try to select your cat. It might work with this. The magnetic selection tool on this might work because it's looking for contrast edges. So that would be one thing you could try, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try this right here just to see how well this works. This is called the object selection right here. And this is, let me see, I start out about here, and it's going to look for an object, and it's going to take a moment. Oh, it didn't even take a moment. So, and see how it did it incompletely?
Happened on the cat's face.
Yep, so that's all right. So here's what you do with that. You go to the lasso and hit, watch what happens when I hit the shift. Well, it doesn't do that. If I hit option. So with this, I can add to it and I can include all of these parts, including right here. So now pretty much all the kitty minus the very tender white paws is selected. Okay. And so what I do then is I would go copy, boink, and just for the sake of it, I'm going to, hold on a second, I'm going to restore all of this. So I'm going to put back to white and I am going to bring all this back. Okay, and now I'm going to paste, maybe. Image, paste, there it is. She's tiny, but there's the kitty cat. And again, to resize that, go down here, edit, transform, scale, and zoom. And in fact, there's one version of her, and I can paste another version of her. There's another kitty cat. I can make 5 kitty cats, and with this one, I can catch the chat. She got no paws. I know. I'm sorry. She's a pawless cat. That's because she's always on the move because she doesn't pause.
And apparently her arms are hollow as well.
Yep. So I'm going to take this one and scale her up a little bit. And I'm going to also take her, edit, transform, and I'm going to rotate. So she's a flying kitty. And then I can move it. And notice that each one of these is now in its own layer. So you can do things independent with that layer that won't affect any of the other layers. So if I want to put, say, kitty cat underneath this, notice, she just disappeared. But if I take this layer right here and make it more transparent, I can see where she is. So therefore, I can now move said kitty cat. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. Am I on the wrong layer? I must be. Yep, I am. That's what I meant to be. I can move. No, why do you keep doing that? I want to be on this layer. So, interesting, the Photopea thinks I want to be on the layer that is dominant here, but I really don't. Nope, it keeps changing layers on me. That's Photopia being stupid. So here's what I'm going to do. Make you invisible. And now, there we go. Now I can move the kitty cat wherever I want it to be. That right there, that little bit is just a bandwidth glitch, because I'm still on layer 3 and I shouldn't have any trouble moving kitty cat. It shouldn't be moving the top layer. But in any case, do you get the point with that? So in other words, you can take your cat and you can merge it with the mountain, and then, you know, maybe make the mountain overlap the cat so the cat looks like she's nestled inside the mountains. But you can move it on top of, you can move it behind. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Any questions? Of course, you're going to have to try it, and then questions will come up. But so that's the next, the next assignment for you. And so I want you to try that, doing that 3 times, which of course means at least 6 images, but you can combine way more than that. You know, if you get into it, this is the kind of stuff where now you can create your own fantasy scene. And actually, I'll say this, if you decide on one image to get really complicated and put more than 2 images in there, put 3 or 4 or 5 images together and have them composite in a complex way, you probably wouldn't have to do 3 images. You know, you can exercise enough learning in one image, if it's complex enough, that would work. And then when you're all done with everything, when you're all said and done, all you have to do is, with the layer, is flatten the image. And once you do that, it's done. Things are as they're going to be. Right now, this is all very fluid because I can go back at any point and undo the history or move things around. But when you're all done compositing, since you are going to have multiple layers, last thing to do is go into layer, and then all the way at the bottom, it says flatten image. And that combines them all into one. In fact, just so you see it, doink, there it is. And of course, this makes no sense. But now it's a flattened image, and you save it as a JPEG and you're good to go. Okay. I still can go back in the history here, however. Until I close it, that history is still active and open. So, is that good? Does that make sense? Or are you all stupefied with confusion?
No, but can I share my screen really quickly to show you like the kind of image that I was talking about?
Totally. And I'm going to allow you to share. Go for it.
So it's like this kind of thing,
Uh-huh.
like something, or like this. So it's like you see the face, but then it like fades into like this landscape or something like that.
Yes. Yes. So, okay, that's a good one, actually. So bring up, don't unshare, actually, keep that up. Keep that up,
Okay.
because I can explain a little bit about it. And those are, by the way, they're like double exposures in a darkroom.
This.
So, okay, so keep that up. So if you look at that image, first of all, it's against a solid white background. So it was probably shot that way. It was probably shot with a model against a white background. But nevertheless, you can decide, if you choose, you can decide to make the background pretty much white just by selecting the model and then inverting the selection, which selects outside of what you were selecting. So when you select everything inside, but if you invert it, then it selects everything outside. And then just simply turn it white. There's a paint bucket that you can use to turn, actually you can make the background any color. And then go back inside of here. So there are multiple layers in there. There's the model, but then there's the landscape that is also part of it. So my guess is that the photographer did pretty much what I was just showing you, is to make the model transparent so that you could see the landscape underneath it. And you can see as it gets right about her jawline that the transparency transfers to opaque. So it transitions back to opaque. So you see the skin tone of the face. And also in her hair, it goes from opaque to transparent. So it shows the background. So this is important on what you decide to lay up. Click the one that says landscape double exposure. It's kitty corner lower right from that image. That's it right there. Okay, so same thing. Now you have, instead of a white background, you have what? Just a kind of a buff, ivory colored background. And where the head was, where her hair is, that's just made transparent, and the image underneath comes through, which is the forest. And where her face is, that remains opaque. So this is toggling back and forth between opacity and transparency. So that's where that mask that I showed you, the vector mask, comes in really handy. So, and you can go, because you don't have to do it at 100%. You can, draw the transparency in at 35% or 40 or 50%. So you can do it slowly and in a way where it transitions and blends much more evenly. So does that make sense? Yep, same thing. So what we're describing, you can do all of these images in that kind of way. That bottom right one is really cool, the guy's head. Now it says double exposure. If this was, yep. Oh, it's a fusion of two images. Yeah, exactly right. So that's how all of these are done. So it's just a matter of how much. So his ear is more opaque than his cheek, and his cheek is transparent. So you get whatever that is. It looks like rock face or a tree bark or ancient Chinese landscape painting. I'm not even sure, but they're just toggling back and forth between the skin of the face being opaque and the skin of the face being transparent, and showing what's underneath it. So does that make sense? And that's actually, I'm really glad that you showed those images, because that's a really good example of what can be done with this. And pretty lovely examples, actually. So does that help, Serena?
Yes. Here, I'll stop sharing really quick.
Okay. So you got to go up to the stop share. It's in red. There we go. So did those examples make sense for the rest of you guys too?
Yeah, I had a quick question.
Please.
So is this supposed to be in some kind of theme or something, or can we just pick whatever images we want?
I will let you guys choose your own images.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I mean, I could give you a theme. I could say, show me a dozen eggs, and each one shows a different world inside of it, but which would be cool. But I like, when I just remember what it was like when I was a student, and I didn't want my teacher telling me what the theme should be.
Yeah, okay, cool. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
So do we have any other questions? Is there anybody that's so confused here that they don't even know where to start?
I am.
Okay. So Valeshka, have you been using Photopea or Lightroom?
I've been using Lightroom.
Okay. So yeah, this is an assignment that you're going to have to do in Photopea, because Lightroom, you can't composite images. Lightroom just does discrete photographs. And in fact, one of the things that I've been trying to find out about it. It doesn't even seem like you can expand the canvas in Lightroom, which is something that Photoshop or Photopea does very easily. So there's going to have to be a little bit of playing with Photopea to do that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And I showed a while back, if you go into Photopea, and I'll do this again. So about. So if you click the About button, it takes you to it shows you how you can, there is, clicking on this, there are tutorials in here about how it can be used. So learn tutorials. So all you have to do is click on the About and then click on that, and it'll take you to tutorials. So you can ask some, you can learn some pretty specific stuff about it. And I know this is not ideal. And the least ideal part of this class is that if I was there in the class and you were in the class and you were having a hang up with something, I could say, oh, try this, look at that. If you click here, you see what happens. And it'd be much easier to show you. And since we don't have that common space, this is as close as I can do it. But what I would ask you guys to do is if you have a problem where there's something that's not working right, or you're not sure how to do something,
Calm down. She got no balls.
you can send me an email and I will try to describe in as precise a detail how to do it as possible. Or we can set up a time where we can get on Zoom together and I can share a screen and I can show you how to work around a problem. So, but that's, if a problem comes up that you can't figure your way around, then I'm happy to help you do that. Okay. Which is also why if you guys have questions right now, this is a great time to do it. So I can get those questions answered. So anything? Any other questions?
Do these have to be like new images, or can we use pictures we've had for like old assignments?
Yes, yes. One of the reasons that I had you guys take so many pictures at the beginning of the semester is so you'd have this pile of photographs, which you can then reuse, because some of the pictures that maybe didn't make your top killer dozen, they might have some use in something like this. So yeah, you can take new ones, but you do not have to. You can use anything that you've already shot. Any other questions? Nope. Okay. So in that case, it's 12:42. I've had you on here for all of 42 minutes, just slightly more than half of the class time. But if there's no more questions, what I'm going to do is hang around and be available for questions. But if you are satisfied, you got what you need. And I know that some of you guys have some work to do. So I'll let you go. All right. And I'll just wait here. And if you guys have a question that's bugging you, just give me a shout out, because I'll be hanging out on the other end. All right.
Thank you, Gotcha.
Okay. You
Okay,
bet.
thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
You betcha. We'll see you.